Hello everyone, hope all of you are okay. Today we are going to begin with a new part related to our chapter, which is chapter 4. Again, I will remind you about the chapter 4 title, Networks and the Effects of Using Them. Our part for today will be part 4. Its title is Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It's a common concept related to our daily routine to connect with the internet or to make any kind of pairing between any device and the other device. So as an introduction for this part, my dear student, I will begin with this kind of a quiz as an online quiz to make a kind of brainstorming, to make a refreshment according to this topic in your mind. So let's begin with our link for today about this quiz as a 7 questions to remember you or to remind you about the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. Begins. Sorry. Yep. Here we have 7 questions according to your background about the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. If you please, after my reading to this question or after the reading of each question separately, if you please, think about it, take care about the options that are listed under each question and try to answer it. And later on, after 1 second or 2 seconds of my reading the question, I will list the answer or I will choose a suitable answer. So let's begin with our online quiz about the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. Question number 1. Bluetooth is a wireless networking technology, personal area network, a teeth-colored blue. A teeth-colored blue. What do you think? Which one is the correct answer? Surely, we will talk about the first one, which is a wireless networking technology. Go to the next question. What device sends and receives radio signals in a wireless network? Here we have 4 important keywords. Sends, receives, radio, wireless network. So again, what device sends and receives radio signals in a wireless network? Modem, router, digital translator. Surely we are talking about router. The next one, my dear student. Now, which of the following is not a component of a Wi-Fi network? Is it a wireless Bluetooth controller or an access point, a wireless client, or a wireless LAN controller? Surely we are talking about a wireless Bluetooth controller. Next question, my dear student. Wi-Fi range, which means the distance that the Wi-Fi can cover it well. So again, Wi-Fi range, is it from 30 to 40 meters, 50 to 100, 100 to 800 meters? Surely we are going to talk about which one as an option, 50 to 100 as a range related to the Wi-Fi, as a distance related to the Wi-Fi. So next question. Sorry. Yep. Now, benefits of Wi-Fi. Benefits, okay? No cables used, cost effective, any easy mode of contraction, all of the above. Which one? What do you think as the benefits related to the Wi-Fi? Surely we are going to talk about all of the above benefits, okay? Next one. A wireless network uses waves to transmit signals. Here the question asks you about the type of the waves that the wireless network use. Is it radio, sound, infrared, or mechanical? Surely we are talking about the radio waves in general, my dear student. Next one, which is the last one. Bluetooth transfers data over distance between. Here we are talking about the Bluetooth distance between what and what as a distance or as a coverage area. Okay, 100 and 200 meters or 1 meter and 110 and 50 meters or 50 and 80 meters. Surely we are talking about 101 and 100 meters as a Bluetooth transfers data over a distance between 1 and 100 meters, my dear student. Until now, we discussed a lot of idea, but in indirect way, according to these questions after our answering now. Now we will return to the slideshow to begin with the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth as a kind of details that we must cover it well. Now, what we are going to know about the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Everyone know well what is the meaning of Wi-Fi, what is the meaning of a Bluetooth, and everyone know well according to our daily routine as a use related to the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth, we are knowing well that why I prefer to use Wi-Fi, why I prefer to use Bluetooth, what is the benefit of having Wi-Fi connection, or what is the drawbacks of having the Bluetooth. In the other side, what is the distance that the Wi-Fi can cover it well. In the other side, what is the distance that the Bluetooth can cover it well. Do we have any drawbacks for both, or do we have any benefits related to the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth? Let's begin with the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth as a common point or as a differences between them. Common, which means comparison or similarities, and later on differences. So let's begin with the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. Both, take care about an important keywords here. Both Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth offer wireless communication between devices. So here we have wireless communication, my dear student. Both use electromagnetic radiation as the carrier of the data transmission. Bluetooth, here we have to talk about Bluetooth. Bluetooth sends and receives radio waves in a band of 79 different frequencies known as channels. So again, Bluetooth sends and receives radio waves in a band of 79 different frequencies known as channel. These are all centered on a frequency of 2.45 gigahertz. Devices using Bluetooth automatically detect and connect to each other, but they do not interfere with other devices because each communicating, my dear student, pair uses a different channel from 79 options as a frequency available or frequencies available to the Bluetooth in general. Another point, when a device wants to communicate, it picks one of the 79 channels at random to pair with another device. So, in general, if any device wants to connect by using the ability with connecting with the Bluetooth in general, it will search about available channel from 0 to 79 frequencies in general, and it picks up directly it as available channel. If the channel is already being used, which means it's not available, randomly picks another channel according to the frequencies that they are available. Once paired, to minimize the risks of the interference here with the other devices, the devices constantly change the channels they are using, and several times a second it will repeat this kind of a process. This is known as spread spectrum frequency hopping. Bluetooth uses key encryption to create a secure wireless personal area network. Take care. Secure wireless personal area network, WPAN. So WPAN as a new concept stands for what as an abbreviation? Wireless personal area network. According to the applying of the key encryption as a feature, it will secure the channels here in general, my dear student. Bluetooth is useful, but useful when? Think about this question. Bluetooth is useful when? One, when it's transferring data between two or more devices which are very close together, which means close together means less than 30 meters distance. So again, when transferring data between two or more devices which are very close together, less than 30 meters in general as a distance. Bluetooth is useful when the speed of data transmission is not critical. Bluetooth is useful for low bandwidth applications. Low bandwidth applications, what is the meaning of this point? For example, when sending music files from a mobile phone to a headset. Here we have a short distance between them. So short transferring as a bandwidth, low bandwidth applications according to this example to present or to explain an idea well. Bluetooth is useful for a lot of ideas, for a lot of reasons, and that's why now we are going to talk about what? Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi sends and receives radio waves in several different frequency bands. Begins with 2.4 gigahertz and ends with 5 gigahertz as a frequencies values. Are the most common at the moment, which means 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz are the most common frequencies Wi-Fi will use. Like Bluetooth, each band is also further split into different channels. What about the 5 gigahertz alone? 5 gigahertz band, as a frequency related to the band, has a faster data transfer, but on the other side, shorter signal range. Wi-Fi is best suited to operating full-scale networks. Why? Because it offers much faster data transfer rates, better range, and better security Bluetooth. That's why we prefer to use Wi-Fi rather than using the Bluetooth. A Wi-Fi enabled device such as a computer or smartphone can access, for example, the internet wirelessly at any point as access point, which is AP. Access point, which is AP. Access point, which means from which point I can access or connect with the internet. Like when you are going to any hotel or any restaurant, you will ask directly about the access point, which is the password related to the Bluetooth, or sorry, to the Wi-Fi here. That's why its name is access point. Maybe access point as an AP or hotspot up to 100 meters away. So again, Wi-Fi enabled any device to connect with the internet by having any access point or by applying or activating the hotspots in general. And everyone knows well what is the meaning of hotspot. Here we have an important table related to the external question papers, related to paper 1 again, which is paper theory, our theory paper. So take care about this table. Its title will be about what? Important details about the summarizes some of the differences between Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And again, if you please take care about this table. It's very important, my dear student. About what, my dear student? About the comparison or differences between Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth, and I will put a star here. Take care, it's very important as a topic, and you will find a lot of questions that will ask you to list these points. But think about, Miss Laila, you will ask me to make a comparison under a differences between Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. So differences between Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. According to what, Miss Laila, I will list the differences. So think about the criteria that we are going to list them, and according to these criteria, I will make a comparison between them as a drawbacks or as a differences between them. So again, here we have to take care. In the first column on this table, my dear student, I listed in front of your eyes the most common criteria that you have to take care about them if you are going to make a comparison between the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. But comparison here, which means differences. Sorry, my dear student, differences according to the criteria. Now we are going to list an ideas related to the differences between Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. Begins with the first criteria, which is transmission frequency used. In the Bluetooth, 2.4 gigahertz. In the Wi-Fi, 2.4, 3.6, 5 gigahertz. What about the second or the next criteria? Data transfer rate, which means the maximum rate that Wi-Fi or Bluetooth can apply or can use, okay? The data transfer rate on the Bluetooth, 25 megabits per second, minus 3.1 megabits or megabytes per second. What about the Wi-Fi? 250 megabits per second, which means 31 megabytes per second. What about the next criteria? Maximum effective range according to distance related to the meters here. Maximum effective range on the Bluetooth, 30 meters. What about the Wi-Fi? 100 meters, it can cover it as a maximum effective range, my dear student. What about the next criteria? Maximum number of devices connected, which means how many devices or what is the number of devices that available or I can apply the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth for them, which means in another way of listing this idea, how many devices we can connect them together or we can transfer any kind of files between them, the number of devices. So maximum number of devices on the Bluetooth up to 7 as a maximum number. On the Wi-Fi depends on the router used. It can be one device or many devices. So here we have unlimited number of devices according to the router use. Type of data transmission security. On the Bluetooth, key matching encryption. It is the type of data transmission security on the Bluetooth. What about the Wi-Fi? WEP, which is wireless equivalent privacy, and WA, which is Wi-Fi protected access, are the most common security systems. So again, here we have a comparison table according to the differences between them, and again, they are very important to your external exam. So if you please, take care about this table again. Next one. Cloud computing. Cloud computing. Miss Laila, I'm knowing well what is the meaning of cloud computing. Before having the cloud computing in general, everyone knows well that the main idea or the main method to store any kind of data or to make any kind of backup or transferring any file to another file or any file from one device to another device, everyone knows well that the previous or the old method was about what? Using any storage device like USB, CD, DVD, whatever. All of these are storage devices. We use them to transfer data or to copy the data or to back up the data. But now everyone knows well, according to the latest technologies, we are going or we use always the cloud computing in general. What we are going to know about the cloud computing. What is the meaning of cloud computing? Do we have any types related to the clouds in general? What is the benefit or what are the benefits of having or the points related to the having the clouds in general as a positive ideas? What about the negative ideas of having the cloud? What about the cost? What about the security risk? So let's begin our discussion with the cloud computing as a storage idea. Here begins with the question, which is, what is the cloud computing, my dear student? What is the cloud computing? It's a method of data storage where data is stored in a remote servers. They may be thousands of servers in many different locations. So here we have, or we are knowing well, that we are talking about physical components related to the servers that I can store what I want. I can make any kind of backup for my files or for my data on the cloud computing on the servers, but remotely I will access the data. Remotely, I will control the data. Remotely, this kind of company that they have, the cloud computing here, will make a full control and full monitoring for any data stored on the clouds. Another idea. The same data is stored in the same data is stored in more than one server in case of maintenance or repair, allowing clients to access data at any time. So here The question asks you why we are going to store the data in more than one server, because of any maintenance status, because of any repairing status, and it will allow the clients to access the data at any time, which means 24 hours, 7 days, you can access your data that you stored in the cloud. This is known as the data redundancy, which means the same data I will use or I will store it in different servers. The physical environment of the cloud servers is owned and managed by a hosting company. So the hosting company is the owner of the cloud computing in general. Ms. Laila, is there any types related to the clouds in general? Do we have more than one type related to the cloud? We are knowing well what is the meaning of the cloud, but we don't know anything related to the types of the cloud. Return back to the slide. You will know well, my dear student, now that there are 3 common cloud storage systems. Begins with the first one, public cloud, then hybrid cloud, then a private cloud. Public, private, hybrid. What is the meaning of these concepts? Let's begin with the public cloud. Public cloud is the first type related to the cloud computing, my dear student. Public cloud. This is a storage environment where the customer, client, and the cloud storage provider are different companies. Take care. So in the public, the customer and the client, or the client, the same meaning here, and the cloud storage provider are different companies. What about the private cloud? This is storage provided by dedicated environment behind a company firewall. Customer, client, and the cloud storage provider are integrated and operate as a single entity. What about the next one, which is hybrid cloud? Hybrid cloud, according to its name, you can figure out that here we have a combination between maybe public and private, or between public and hybrid. Well, I don't know. Let's read. Okay? Hybrid cloud. Okay? Now, this is a combination of the 2 previous environments, which they are public and private. They combine together as a hybrid cloud. So again, this is a combination of the 2 previous environments. Some data resides in the private cloud and less. Again, some data resides in the private cloud, and less sensitive, less commercial data can be accessed from a public cloud storage provider. So all of these details, my dear student, related to public, private, and hybrid. Public cloud, which means customer and the client, and the cloud storage provider, they are different. Private, which means here we have another company or another dedicated environment will work behind a computer or a company firewall. So customer and the client and the cloud storage provider are integrated and operate as a single entity. Hybrid cloud, here we have a combination between the public and the private, my dear student. Advantages of cloud computing. Think about, before I have to list any idea related to the advantages here. Think about my following question now. If you have a huge amount of data, and if you have a huge amount of files as a capacity, and if you want to store these kind of files, or you want to make a backup, and you will think about, I must have my own PC or my laptop, I must increase the capacity of RAM, ROM, HDD, or SSD. I will think about from where I can access the data that I have to store it in my PC. Can I access it from different places, or should I have my laptop to any place that I will go? Should I have to think about the security? Should I have to think about the amount of money that I have to pay if I want to increase the quality of the requirements related to my PC to store well the whole files or the whole data? What about the access? From where I can access the data? Surely I must have my own device and my own account or my own storage device like USB or CD or DVD or whatever. All of these are points will take you to the benefits or the advantages of having the cloud computing in general. Begins with the first point, my dear student. Customer and the client, or the client, the same meaning, customer and the client. Customer-client files stored in the cloud can be accessed at any time from any device, anywhere in the world, as long as internet access is available, which means I will not care about the position or the place or the location that I have to use it or to be on it to access the data. I will not care about I will not care about anything related to the access data here. Just if I will have the internet connection with the device, I can access my data from where or from different places at any time, 24 hours, 7 days. What about the second advantage? There is no need for a customer client to carry any external storage device with them, or even use the same computer to store and retrieve information. The cloud provides, the user with remote backup of data. Remotely, I can access the data with obvious advantages in the event of data loss, disaster, recovery on their own computer. If a customer, a client, has a failure of their hard disk or backup device, cloud storage will allow recovery of their data. The cloud system offers almost unlimited storage capacity, but if you are going to increase the capacity after the available capacity that the cloud in general give it to you for free, if you want to increase, you have to pay as an extra storage capacity here. So according to what we discussed about the advantages of a cloud computing, surely we must think about the disadvantages of a cloud computing. Now, I'm going to explain a lot of ideas related to the disadvantages of a cloud computing, my dear student, and they are very important. So let's begin with the first one as a first disadvantage related to the cloud computing. First disadvantage, security aspects of storing data in the cloud. Surely we have to worry about the security status here. The next disadvantage, if the customer client has a slow or unstable internet connection, surely they could have many problems accessing or downloading their data or files. Next one, costs. Take care, can be high if a large storage capacity or a high upload data transfer is required. Surely I have to pay a lot. On the other side, the potential failure of the cloud storage company is always possible. This poses a risk of loss of the data or of the all data backup in general. So all of these are points related to the disadvantages of a cloud computing, and all of them are very important, my dear student. Now, you have to take care that several computer manufacturers, especially tablets and laptops and mobile phone manufacturers, are encouraging customers to store all backup or the backup in general according to their files into the cloud storage in general. So, users, they need to purchase. So users purchase a cloud storage and can then access all their files. For example, photos, videos, music, or e-books, which means electronic box from any device where in the world. They encourage the users by using the smartphone or smart device or tablets or laptops or whatever. They encourage the customers to think about using the clouds in general to store the data. According to that and according to this scenario, you have to take care that this has obvious advantages. Obvious advantages, we have to think about it, or we have to think about them. You don't need, my dear student, according to the use of a cloud storage in general or a cloud computing, you don't need to carry memory sticks around with you if you want to access your files away from the home. You don't have to pay for large storage capacity on your computer or tablet or mobile phone. Because the cloud is controlled by external companies, they will ensure that your files are backed up and therefore reduce the possibility of losing irreplaceable data. What about the synchronizing status, which means if I will use a cloud storage on this device, can I access my data in another device? Think about this idea. According to this next slide, the ability to synchronize files ensures they are automatically updated across all devices, which means that the latest version of a file saved on a desktop computer, for example, it's also available on the other device, such as a smartphone. Next one. Cloud storage is also ideal for collaboration purposes. Take care. It allows several users to edit and collaborate on a single file or document. There is no need to worry about tracking the latest versions or which user made the changes. All of these are extra advantages of having the cloud computing in general. But on the other side, we have to worry about an important idea, or we have to worry about an important risk related to the use of cloud computing, which is data security and data loss. Here we have two risks we have to think about, according to different advantages of having the cloud computing, but on the other side, we have to worry about the most important risk as a disadvantage of using the cloud computing, which is again the data security and data loss. Data security using cloud storage computing. Companies that transfer vast amount of information as a confidential files or confidential data from their own systems to a cloud service provider are potentially relinquishing control of their own data security. So think about the security risk here. That's why we have to take care about the data, the backups, the files, and the risks related to the security risk here. According to what I explained before, now a lot of questions we have. So this raises a number of questions according to the whole ideas, especially the disadvantages of cloud computing. Begins with the first question, which, what physical security exists regarding the building where the data is housed? How good is the cloud service provider's resistance to natural disaster or to power cuts? What safeguards exist regarding personnel who work for the cloud service company? And the last question, can they use their authorization codes to access confidential data for monetary purposes in general? All of these questions, according to what we discussed before, we have to think about them if I'm going to use the cloud computing in general, my dear student. Until now, we discussed a lot of details related to different kind of ideas, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, cloud computing, benefits of cloud computing, disadvantages of cloud computing, and so on. I hope, my dear student, that everything until now is clear. Please study well, solve past papers, and compare your solution with its mark scheme to be an A Metastar student. Thank you so much, my dear student, and see you in our next part.